Hello everyone. Today we will learn about the investigation and statistical methods of disease and insect pests of tea plant. First, let's take a look at the purpose and main contents of investigation of diseases and pests. The occurrence law of diseases and pests, the population number, and its fluctuation are the result of many internal and external factors. The occurrence period, quantity, damage degree, and spread distribution trend of diseases and pests can be accurately predicted according to scientific methods so that appropriate prevention and control measures can be taken timely, and diseases and pests can be effectively controlled. The purpose of the investigation of diseases and pests is different. The items and contents of the investigation are also different. The contents of the investigation on tea plant diseases and pests roughly include the following aspects. First, investigate the species and number of insects and diseases in a tea garden in a certain area, knowing which are the main pests, natural enemies, or diseases, and which are secondary, can identify the main objects of control and the main natural enemies available. The second is to investigate the geographical distribution of some insects and diseases, as well as the number in each area or plot, so as to guide the prevention and control of diseases and pests or the protection and utilization of natural enemies. Third, to investigate the host range of a certain pest or natural enemy, and the host range of the disease, occurrence period, occurrence regularity, overwintering, insect state, etc., and to investigate the quantitative changes under various conditions and different periods, so as to grasp its life history and occurrence regularity. Fourth, through the investigation of the damage degree loss of tea trees to determine whether need control or the control period and scope. Then, the basic principles and types of disease and pest investigation. When investigating the number of diseases and pests in a tea garden or the degree of damage, it is impossible and unnecessary to count the diseases and insects in the garden one by one. The sum of certain diseases and insects in the garden is called population. Each disease and insect is called an individual. According to a certain method, some of the individuals taken from it are called samples. The investigation of the samples should follow two basic principles. One is objectivity. The other is representativeness. The following factors should be considered when formulating the plan. First, economy. Second, accuracy. Third, the degree of difficulty of the overall numbering. Fourth, whether it is easy to operate in practice. The survey or sampling types we often use include random sampling, stratified sampling, multi-stage sampling, sequential sampling, and systematic sampling. Random sampling is one of the most commonly used methods in the population survey of diseases and pests, that is, in a certain space. The individual of that population are equally sampled to represent the population. Specific practice, number n samples respectively, and then pick the number as samples. Stratified sampling is often used to investigate the population dynamics of diseases and pests. The approximate individuals in the population are divided into several layers and groups. A random sample is taken from each layer to represent the population. Whether stratified sampling is needed or not, statistical tests can be carried out after each layer sampling. T-test in 2 layers. Analysis of variance in more than 3 layers. If the difference is significant, it should be stratified. Otherwise, it cannot be stratified. This method is more suitable for populations with aggregated distribution. Multi-stage sampling is divided into several levels according to geographical space, and then random sampling is carried out according to stages. Sequential sampling is carried out by using the hypothesis test method in mathematical statistics, under the guarantee of a certain probability. According to a small number of samples, considers the survey results of accepting or rejecting samples. One of the characteristics is that the sampling quantity is not specified in advance, under the guarantee of a given error probability. The number of samples can be reduced as much as possible. The second is the calculation of sequential sampling. varies according to the distribution pattern of the population. This method is suitable for only investigating whether the occurrence degree of pests reaches the control index, and testing the control effect without accurately grasping the population density. Systematic sampling, also known as mechanical sampling, carries out random sampling according to the number order specified in advance, selects a positive integer k for the population before sampling, and arranges n individuals in the group one by one. 1, 2, 3, k, k plus 1, k plus 2, and so on until n. But when the number of individuals in each column exceeds 50, this difference is negligible. That's all for today. Thank you for your watching. See you!